Hello, welcome to another unboxing. This time it's the Sony AX33 4K video cam. I wasn't intending to buy another video camera. I've had an HD one for a while and I've got a tiny little action cam and I've been using this A6500 for videos for the last few goes, but it's not ideal because the screen doesn't move properly and I think it's more suited for taking pictures. So this came up in the Amazon Prime Day sale and it was £399, plus you can get £50 cash back from Sony if you buy from Amazon and not from an Amazon seller. So it's 350 quid, and I think this is what I'm going to be using for my unboxing videos and synthesizer videos on Great Mesmo channel, stuff like that, for one main reason. Well, other than it's 4K, it's got a proper stabilizer, but it's got a headphone socket, and the A6500 hasn't. So I can never tell, for example, if there was a hum in the line in when I plugged the synthesizer in, or there was some distortion I didn't know about. So it's always nice to be able to monitor what you're doing. So this is going to be my new home camera. So all of my unboxing videos from this one, after this one, will be using this. So let's see what we get. I say this is one of their cheaper ones. There's quite a few in the range. This is a smaller version of an even older one as far as I can gather. But it's got a small sensor in it. I think it's a micro four thirds. It's not the very, very smallest sensor, but it's the one up from that. So it's quite small, about the same as inside my action cam, I would imagine. So let's get everything out. And I noticed, so I've seen a few pictures of it online. Yes, it does actually come with a bigger battery, so you get a bit better time. Of course, that's the other advantage of having a video camcorder. It's not just being able to move the screen about compared to my A6500. It's the time that you can take, because these things, after 28 minutes, they just cut out. And I know there's various ways you can try and override it, but I'd rather have something dedicated for this use. So here we are, get quite a few odds and ends here. In fact, although you said it's small, it's not that small. It's still a reasonable size. It's finished in this sort of pretend metal look, but it's quite light and plasticky. But I don't know, it feels alright. It says it's got a 15 times, I think it's a 10 times optical, and then it goes digital beyond that. Of course, it takes, there we are. This is the reason, really, that it sold it for me, is just that. So I can plug in my synthesizers, my Great Mesmo channel, and play them and listen to what it sounds like. It's really important. Oh, and there's an HDMI or USB. It's a multi USB there. Quite a nice, yeah, already there. And also it comes with a USB already wired in, which I guess is a bit novel. I've never been without one, but you never know. It's quite nice to have. Very much the same as my old so I've had an HD camera for years, and my HD camera cost over £1,000 when I bought it. Just like membrane switch. It's got the power in on the same point as my old one did. A manual override. It's got a zoom. Actually, that's got a little bit of inertia. It's a little bit weighted. A little bit dampened. That's quite nice. And of course, the newer stuff now. When I had my original HD camera, it had one of the Sony shoes, which was a nightmare because this is the shoe that you want because it's more universal. So that's a good thing to see on there. And I gather that I can put my action cam on top and I can sync them both with Wi-Fi, so they record at exactly the same time. Quite why I'd want one on top and film the two things from the same viewpoint, I'm not so sure. But if it worked at a distance, then that might be worth having. Okay, so there's wide telephoto control there, and it's there as well. Plus, does it do that? Yeah, it does. This is something that I like. So on some cameras, when you close the door, it stops recording. But on a lot of these Sony ones, you just pull this out and it carries on recording, so you can keep this closed and just use the viewfinder. So I found quite useful in the past. Okay, so this is quite a budget version. It's quite cut down, but it's got everything I need, including night vision, which I'm really glad to see there, so I can record the bats at night maybe again. Oh, there's the HDMI. So it does have an HDMI as well, so it's got a multi-USB and an HDMI. Quite a big cover for just such a tiny little thing, isn't it? And of course, it looks like Sony have done away with their own stuff now. They've admitted that. Do you remember the time when you could only use their, was it called Magic Gate, their cards? And they were really, really expensive. Now you can put an SD in. I expect you can put either in. My last one had that. So I bought a card for it. So there we are. Let's see if there's any juice in the battery. There might be some. So you usually store better with a tiny, tiny bit of voltage in them. I'm glad to say that it is a bigger one. And oh, what type of battery is it? It's the V type. Oh, that's good. So I've got a V charger, H and V charger. And you can get even bigger ones because they just stick at the back, so it doesn't matter. And that's why that comes out so far. Oh, there's a bit of power. The usual Sony, I don't know if you can see in there. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, so you can just use that. I don't know if it's going to save battery or not. I'd imagine it probably would, being a smaller display, but you know. And of course there's the adjust for your own vision on there. And then there's the usual setup, and it is a touch. Oh, there we go, GMT, London. Sets to summertime, we're on summertime right now. English, month. No, it won't, yeah. Which way is it? We normally have it. Day, month, year. That one. Oh, right, okay. So it's the... Actually, the display's quite nice, actually. It's the 24th of the 7th. You can tell how long it's been out, see? It goes back to 2015. That sort of dates it. It's been out... Oh, the wrong way. Of course, my old one had GPS, and the beauty of GPS is, you know, you don't, I don't know if you're like me, I don't keep the batteries and everything all the time. I like to store them without the batteries. And of course it forgets all this. And the beauty of having the GPS, and I mean the modules now are really cheap, they were expensive years ago, and it will set all this via GPS. So I don't understand why they all don't have the little GPS chip in and just set this every time. Anyway, we will wait and see how long it remembers this. Play memories home, yeah, I've got an account. And there we are, we're off. And it's telling me there's not much juice in the battery, so I don't know how much longer we've got here. Oh, there's a little microphone thing here. Oh, 2-channel. So I guess you've got to select if it's does it strange. What? Looking in there, it looks like there's only 2 microphones, but there may be. My old one had a 5.1, and it sort of worked. It was quite nice watching the roller coaster videos when I did that on that. Well, let's see this zoom. So I can do it this close. So it's just about to pack in the battery. So let's see. So yeah. And of course, the beauty of it is it's this beautiful stabilization. This is one of the things that Sony does so well. Can you see that there, stabilizing? So when you, there we go. So when you move the camera around, the inside lenses and the sensor are all like floating about. It's absolutely brilliant. And Sony really have got this down to a fine art now. So, I mean, you know, for £400, you're thinking about a family camcorder. But I noticed on Amazon now it was on at $599. But, you know, if you do fancy this, well, maybe hold on, wait till there's another sale. And it may be back in a sale again in the future. And there we are, zoom right back. I don't know if it looks any different. when you zoom, oh, you can see the lens going backwards inside. That's another good thing, of course. The lens doesn't come out when you're using the zoom in this because it's got room, being a camcorder, so it goes internally. That's quite nice. It's also, look, saying that the battery's going to run out, so you've got a bit of a warning there, I guess. Yep. Well, there we are. That's the first impressions of a look around on that. Looks nice, even with the battery. It's not too heavy. I mean, it does make it weigh a bit more, of course, obviously. Well, I wonder if I can just do the manual before the battery runs out. Let's see. So pushing that manual button does what? You've got to push it for a few seconds. So you can go from zoom. Now what do I do now? Do I select it with... there we go. So it is the ring, but it's got to be zoomed right back. So you can select zoom, focus, exposure, iris, shutter speed. Let's go shutter speed. Let's see what we can do with that. That button. Turning off intelligent auto. So we can go right down to... So it's quite good for blurring, you know, if you want to blur a roller coaster or something going by. Up to 10,000. Well, I'm gonna have some fun with that, I think. And yes, to cancel that, we just push manual again for a few seconds. It comes up, then we can change it to something else. Reset. Or back to zoom again. There we go, and it's back on zoom. That feels a bit thicker than it did on my other HD camera. So what else do we get? We get a charger. They're all switch mode these days, they're quite efficient. And I haven't had a Sony one pack up on me yet. So there we are, but I guess you can probably charge it by USB. I don't know, we'll have to find out. But it would be a long charge on USB for that battery, just from the computer. So you're better off to use this or a proper battery charger. And we get a HDMI, the small HDMI to the standard you put in the back of your telly. And what's this? Oh, okay, so it's a USB extension cable, I guess, for this thing. If you want to extend it out a bit. That's something I haven't got. You get a standard UK plug, fitted sensibly for once with a 3 amp fuse. I don't know how many plugs I've got, and I've had to change the fuses where I've just left them with 13. You know, sensible 3 amps. And we've got the usual guarantee there. Put that down a bit. For customers in Europe. Something about emissions. Oh, as extras you can get a light or a tripod. Or a multi-interface shoe, accessory shoe here. Yeah, that might be quite interesting. So you can get bigger batteries, I guess. Which one's this? It's the 100 amp battery, it's the bigger one. There's the charger. I've got one of the more old-fashioned one, it's dual charge, and if you put 2 batteries in the same after it's charged them, it gives them an extra charge on top. It's really nice. It's talking about a microphone and a zoom mic, but I've got a Rode microphone which I found very, very good. Register your product online. Something to do, some multi things to do with warranty. Oh, it's about the battery. And you do get a starter guide. Here's about the battery, customers in Canada. Okay, it gives you some useful information now. Is it all in English? Oh, nice one. And instead of being one of these great big books that's, you know, really, really huge in about 100 different languages for once, this is just in English. Fantastic. And it's got a index at the back and a little bit of a light reading, do's and don'ts, I should imagine. There we go. Also, I bought this memory card because this was on the special day sale, on the Prime Day sale. This was £40 for 128 gigs. Now, if you're going to use the 4K at 100 megabits per second, you need one. You see this little bit here with the 3. You've got to have one with this sort of like little bucket shape in the 3 and a class 10 for it to be fast enough to work. So I've opted for 128 gigs, so hopefully I won't be needing to take this out very often, because I'd imagine most of the time I won't be recording 128 gigs in one go. Right, how do we get into this then? Is this... Okay. Free download, 2-year subscription to Rescue Pro. Visit today. Now, if anyone wants that Rescue Pro, there, you can have that. There's the code for a 2-year free download thingy-jiggly. If anybody wants that, you're welcome to it. I like these cases, I always hang on to these. So a nice 128 gig card. Which way in does it go? This way? Please connect AC adapter. It's just saying the battery's flat. Anyway, so there we are. So that's a quick look round of my new unboxing camera, and probably I'll be using it in the garden filming bats, and I'll be using it on my Great Mesmo channel because of this. This is something that I really do need them. I was a bit annoyed that my A6500 didn't have it, but it's really a film, you know, a photographic camera rather than film. It does do 4K, but even with the stabilized sensor, I did one in Blackpool on a tram, and I put a Gorilla Pod on the side of the tram, and there's just waves going all the way through it with the banging of the wheels, etc. This would have just sailed through that and would have just taken it in its prime. It would just... They're so good, these floating lenses. So even though this has the A6500 does have the actual sensor moves, but it's really for photography, this thing. So I'm going to be not using this one again. And here it is. So all my new unboxing videos. So let's see if you can see a difference. But this is an APS-C size sensor, and it's on a ZEISS lens as well. So that's a really nice setup. So the difference in price between this and what I'm using here is well over £1,000. So it'd be interesting to see the difference. In fact, it's probably nearer to ZEISS lens. It depends what price you can get the ZEISS lens at. I've seen it as much as 900, and the body's about 1,500. And this was, when I get the money cash back, will be £350. So it'd be quite interesting to see on YouTube. So if you're thinking about uploading to YouTube and you can't tell the difference between the quality, then there's not much point in spending a lot more on a camcorder. I mean, you know, people say camcorders about their day. They still do have a place. I still use both, so I'm very happy to have another one. So this is my home camcorder. So this is the Sony AX33 4K camcorder, which has, I better just point out that it does have a 20.6 megapixel image sensor. It's 15 times on 4K, 20 times on HD clear image zoom. It has a 29.8mm wide angle lens, and it does 100 frames per second high speed recording, and it has a manual ring. So there we are, 100 frames per second. Anything else on the box worth mentioning? So there we are. Thanks for watching. See you next time.